So let's dive right into the tutorial. So after folding my clothes into in such a way that I know it will contain my hip, the next thing I'm just going to do is that I'm going to be measuring my skirt length. As you see me do there, I'll just go ahead and mark my skirt length, and of course I'm going to add 1 inch allowance just to turn it in. So I'll just go ahead and mark 1 inch allowance. The next thing you are going to be doing is just that you draw a straight line across it. As you see me do, go ahead and draw a straight line across it. The next thing you'll now be doing now is that you're going to be marking your hip line. Because I'm on a smaller side, I'll be using 8 inches. If you're on a bigger side, you can go ahead and mark 9 inches and just draw a straight line across it as you see me do. So come up to the waistline and mark your waist measurement divided by 4 plus 2.5 inches. I intentionally use that because we're going to be flipping it over with a lining and we're still going to be giving some dart. So do the same on the hip and just connect it together as you see me do. Connect it together like this in a hip curve. Then come here and whatever you have on your hip measurements, just come down to the hem of this dress and replicate it. Then from there you can come in by 1 inches if you want, but for the sake of the fact that I want my hem to be very tight, I'll be coming in by 3 inches or 2.5 to 3 inches, depending on how tight you want it to be. Just come in as much as you want, but normally you can just go in by 1 inches, 1.5. then you go ahead and cut. So after cutting, I'm just going to place it also on another fabric, ensuring to put my zipper allowance. Don't forget we're going to be fixing the zipper at the back of about 1.5 inches, and you go ahead and cut it also in the same way as the same way you do. Also don't forget to open up your back piece. Don't forget to be in 2 pieces because of the zipper. So I'm also going to fold the zipper allowance like in such a way like this, and I'm going to notch it so it will help me recognize the point at which my zipper is. So that's basically that on that. On to the next. So we're just going to be replicating everything we've cut on the lining piece, and I intentionally let my lining a little bit wider than my actual fabric for the sake of sewing conveniently. I'm going to do that on the front piece also. Just cut out the lining. As you can see what I'm doing, I'm making sure that the lining is a little bit wider than the clothes. So right into the sewing part, just pick out your front piece like this and the lining as you can see me do, and you're just going to head to the sewing machine right now. And what you're doing is simple. Just go ahead and sew all around. Now ensure that you leave a space for opening, which you're going to use to flip it. You know, if you sew it all around, you won't be able to flip it. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to sew it all around. I've gone ahead to sew it around, and I also left, can you see it is placed to flip it open. So that is very, very important. Make sure you flip it open. So I'll flip it now and show you what it's looking like. So guys, I've gone ahead to flip it open and also went ahead and give it a very good press. I also went ahead to give it a very, very good press. Now, the place I left to be flipped open, you're going to go ahead to the sewing machine and just run a stitch down over it like I showed you. So as you can see guys, I've gone ahead to do that. So guys, this is the back panel, the back piece. Don't forget it has the zipper allowance. So I'm just going to do the same for the back panel also. Don't forget they are in 2s, and also you're going to leave your space of flipping over. Don't forget we did that for the front, and it's advisable you do that right on the zipper allowance area. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. It's advisable. So and see it. So I've gone ahead to sew the old thing, and also remember I told you can see towards the beneath of the hem of the dress I left it around the zipper allowance. Can you see it? Not on the side. So that one is way more better, and I did that for the other side also. I make sure I left the space to flip it over. So I'm just going to flip this over, and I'm going to be showing you what it is looking like. Also make sure you give it a very good press, and I'll show you what it is looking like. So I've gone ahead to flip it over and give it a very good press, as you can see. Also do not forget to close the place we left open. Yeah, the place we left open to flip it over. Yeah, do not forget to close it back on the same machine. So I'll do that and show you what it's looking like. So I've gone ahead to do that. As you can see, I've closed it up and it's looking very neat. The next thing we'll be doing now is to put our darts in the dress. So you have to bring your front panel and make sure you iron the center out. Now from the center, that is the center of my skirt, I mark 4 inches. If you're on a bigger side, you can use 4.5, 5, depending on your size. So 4 inches apart from the center of the skirt on the waistline. And I'm just going to fold it the way I'm doing like this. As you can see me, it's very easy. Just fold it like this. It's a very simple approach. And the next thing you're going to do is to measure 1/2 inch. And the depth I'll be using for the sake of this tutorial as the dart length will be 6 inches. So I'm just going to sew like this. Look at the way I'm connecting my chalk in that manner. If you're familiar with patterns, you should know this is the way we sew that on clothes. So I'm just going to follow the shape of what I draw, and I'm going to do that on both sides of the skirt. So I'm going to go ahead to do that on the sewing machine now and show you what it is looking like. As you can see, I'm intentionally bolding it so that you can see it very well. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead to sew the darts on both sides. As you can see, I've gone ahead to sew the darts, and I've gone ahead to give it a very good press. Make sure you give it a very good press. So now onto the back panel, we're also going to do the same thing, but then remember, you'll be taking your dart measurements from the zipper allowance. Yeah, your dart measurement should be from the zipper allowance so that it should be fit. So I'm going to do that and show you. As you can see, I've gone ahead to do that and I've given it a very good press. So the next thing we'll be doing now is to determine on the back panel how much we'll be slitting our skirts. From here, I'll be using about 10 from the hem of the dress. Just measure how much you want to slit it, and you come to the upper part of the waist here at the zipper allowance and mark your zipper allowance, which I'm using 7. Definitely I'll be sewing from that 7 inches down to where I'm going to be stopping for my slitting. So I'm just going to take this to sewing machine and sew it as I show you and fix my zip. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to fix my zip and you can see how it is looking. It is come together. Now we will be closing up the slitted parts. Although for this tutorial I'll not be closing it up. You can just go ahead and run a stitch over the slitted parts, but for me I'll be using an hemming because I don't want the seaming allowance to be showing outside. So that's just that on that. And the next thing we'll be doing now is the shaping part. But before that, do it to like this video, comment, subscribe, please. So let's go to the shaping parts very fast. I'm just going to input my waist measurement and on my hip line the hip measurement, and I'm going to connect in some manner, just the way I'm doing it with my shock, basic shaping, and I'm going to run a stitch over it. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to stitch it and we'll practically come to the end of the class, and you can see what it is looking like, the final look. It is very nice. Do it to give it a very good press. If you want to have a final look, give it a very good press. So thank you for watching. Bye.